What happens when a single choice changes everything? The entertainment world is reeling as whispers turn into headlines. Hyun's life-changing decision stunts fans, now trending worldwide. Is it a bold new chapter, a shocking twist, or the beginning of a story no one saw coming? The suspense has captivated millions, and the truth behind this viral storm is waiting to be uncovered. Join Red Carpet Revealed as we dive deep into the mystery, unravel hidden clues, and explore the decision that has set KBs on fire. What happens when one of Korea's most admired stars makes a decision that no one saw coming? The answer arrived like lightning in the middle of a calm night. Hyun's life-changing decision stunts fans, now trending worldwide. The news spread faster than wildfire, igniting social media timelines, dominating search engines, and sending fans across the globe into an emotional frenzy. It was not just another gossip headline. It was the kind of revelation that could redefine a career, reshape public perception, and perhaps alter the very narrative of KBs itself. The rumor began quietly, whispered in the corners of online fan forums. At first, it was dismissed as yet another baseless claim, the kind that rises and falls daily in the digital age. But soon, fragments of information began to align. A leaked photo here, a cryptic comment there, a post from someone claiming insider knowledge. It was enough to spark the flames of speculation. By the next morning, hashtags connected to Hyun's decision had flooded Twitter and Weibo, with TikTok creators posting reaction videos that garnered millions of views. The question on everyone's lips was simple yet urgent: what exactly had Hyun decided, and why now? To grasp why this moment hit so hard, must understand Hyun's position in the world of entertainment. For over a decade, Hyun had built not just a career, but an empire of admiration. His performances, whether in sweeping melodramas or intense thrillers, captivated audiences and established him as a household name. More than that, his off-screen persona, quiet, dignified, humble, crafted an image of reliability and perfection. Fans adored him not only as an actor but as a role model. That is why any personal decision, especially one with the potential to change his life, would inevitably ripple far beyond his private circle. Theories multiplied by the minute. Some speculated that the decision was career-related. Perhaps Hyun was preparing to step away from acting to pursue directing. Or maybe he had accepted an international project that would shift the balance of his career. Others were convinced it was personal. The words life-changing fueled speculation of marriage, family, or even a shocking retirement. A particularly popular theory on Reddit suggested Hyun had purchased a residence abroad, signaling a permanent move. The ambiguity of it all was intoxicating. Fans could not resist filling in the blanks. The media wasted no time capitalizing on the chaos. Tabloids ran headlines like Hyun's big choice revealed, and life-changing decision shocks Korea. Morning talk shows gathered panels of entertainment reporters to dissect every shred of available information. Clips of Hyun's most recent public appearances were replayed endlessly. Each pause in his speech, each glance downward, each nervous smile interpreted as foreshadowing of the mysterious decision. It was as though the entire world had become a detective, analyzing clues in search of an answer. Fans responded with a mix of panic and exhilaration. On Twitter, one user wrote in all caps, "Hyun, please tell us what's happening, I can't breathe." Another declared, "Whatever he chooses, we'll stand by him." On TikTok, thousands filmed themselves reacting to the rumor, some crying, others laughing nervously, still others posting long monologues about their fears and hopes. The emotional spectrum stretched from heartbreak to unconditional support. What united them all was obsession. They needed to know more. International fans joined in with equal fervor. In Japan, Hyun's name trended across Yahoo News, while fan clubs organized emergency live streams to discuss possibilities. In the Philippines, local news outlets covered the story as though it were breaking political news, complete with on-the-ground interviews of ordinary citizens. Latin American fan groups had long celebrated Hyun's dramas, posted passionate messages of solidarity. "If it makes him happy, it makes us happy." The sheer global scale of the reaction underscored Hyun's unique status as not just a Korean star, but a world star. Amidst the chaos, silence reigned from Hyun himself. For days, he made no statement. His agency released only a vague remark urging fans to wait for official updates. Yet this silence did nothing to quell the speculation. On the contrary, It intensified the storm. In the absence of answers, fans turned to imagination. They pulled old interview clips where Hyun mentioned wanting to start a new chapter. They re-examined photos of him looking reflective at recent events. They even dissected his choice of clothing, wondering if his sudden preference for darker tones was symbolic of change. Silence, in this case, spoke volumes. Tension reached a boiling point when an unverified source claimed Hyun had confided in close friends that he was preparing to announce his decision publicly. Though no proof accompanied the claim, it spread like wildfire. News outlets picked it up. Fan pages reposted it. And suddenly the world believed an announcement was imminent. Comment sections swelled with anticipation. "He's going to say it tomorrow," one user predicted confidently. "This weekend, everything will change," another insisted. The collective heartbeat of millions seemed to quicken. In truth, no one knew for sure. But that uncertainty became the fuel for the most intense speculation wave Hyun had ever faced. And then, at last, the silence broke. On the third evening after the rumor exploded, Hyun appeared at a scheduled fan meeting in Seoul. The venue was packed. The atmosphere electric. Fans waved banners, chanted his name, filled the air with a buzzing anticipation of revelation. When Hyun walked onto the stage, the room erupted in applause. Yet beneath the cheers was a palpable tension. That something monumental was about to occur. For the first hour, the event proceeded as usual. Hyun greeted fans warmly, answered questions about his recent projects, cracked jokes that drew laughter from the crowd. But the anticipation only grew heavier with each passing moment. Everyone knew the real reason they were there had yet to be addressed. Finally, as the event neared its end, tone shifted. He paused, gazed at the audience with uncharacteristic seriousness, and took a deep breath. "I know many of you have been waiting," he began softly, his voice steady but heavy with emotion. "There have been many words, many stories, many speculations. I think it's time I speak for myself." The crowd fell utterly silent. You could hear a pin drop. Hyun's words carried the weight of inevitability. The world leaned in closer, desperate for the truth. What he said next would not only stun his fans but set the entire industry ablaze. It was not just a confession, just a statement, it was the beginning of a new chapter. One that would define Hyun's legacy and echo across global entertainment. The room remained frozen in silence, every fan holding their breath as Hyun prepared to reveal the truth. His eyes scanned the audience, and for a moment, it was as if he was looking directly at each person individually. Then came the words that would ripple across the globe. "I have made a decision that will change my life, and I want to share it with you first." The audience gasped collectively. Fans immediately covered their mouths in shock. Others clutched the hands of their friends sitting beside them. Tension was unbearable. Was this the announcement of retirement? Was he leaving acting altogether? Was it marriage? Every possibility thundered through the minds of the audience at once. Hyun continued, his voice calm yet resolute. He spoke of how he had spent years dedicating himself to his career, grateful for the opportunities and the unwavering support of his fans. Yet, he admitted, he had reached a point where he wanted more than just professional success. He wanted fulfillment as a person, only as a celebrity. The decision, he explained, was not made lightly. It had been months in the making, the product of sleepless nights and heartfelt conversations with his closest confidants. Then came the phrase that crystallized the revelation, "I am choosing my happiness." The room erupted into chaos, screams, awes, sobs, gasps. Some fans cheered wildly, cried uncontrollably, overwhelmed by emotion. Hyun smiled gently, acknowledging the storm he had just unleashed. "I don't know what the future holds," he said, "but I know this choice is mine. I hope you will walk with me, as you always have." Within minutes, clips of his statement spread across every social media platform. On Twitter, the hashtag #HyunChoosingHappiness trended worldwide. On TikTok, fans recorded themselves watching the live stream, tearful reactions going viral. On Instagram, edits of Hyun's words over soft music flooded feeds. His simple statement had become a cultural earthquake. Media outlets scrambled to publish breaking news articles. Hyun announces life-changing decision, chooses happiness over fame. Hyun's bold declaration stuns fans at Seoul event. The era for Hyun begins. The ambiguity of his words only amplified the frenzy. What exactly did choosing happiness mean? Some insisted it was a retirement announcement in disguise. Others speculated marriage, pointing to previous rumors that Hyun was secretly in a relationship. Still others believed he was preparing to pursue a different creative path, such as directing or producing. The industry reeled. Brands associated with Hyun immediately convened emergency meetings, analyzing the potential fallout. Instead of distancing themselves, many companies saw an opportunity. They aligned their marketing campaigns with his message, launching slogans like "Choose Happiness" alongside his image. What might have been a PR disaster transformed into a rallying cry for positivity and authenticity. Meanwhile, the cultural conversation deepened. Television analysts debated the significance of his decision. Was this a watershed moment for KBs? Dominated by the idea that celebrities must sacrifice personal lives for their careers? Hyun is breaking the mold. One expert argued. Is reminding us that stars are human beings first. Just public property. Younger celebrities echoed his message in interviews, citing him as an inspiration. If Hyun can choose happiness, so can we, said one rising actor. For fans, the impact was deeply personal. Letters poured in. Many posted publicly. Others sent privately to his agency. Fan wrote, "Your courage gave me courage. Because of you, I will choose happiness too." Another confessed, "I cried all night. But I realize you've given us more than enough. Now it's time for you to live your life around the world." Hyun's decision resonated far beyond the boundaries of entertainment. It became a human story about the universal search for fulfillment. The following weeks only intensified the legacy. Retreated from public appearances, fueling further speculation. Paparazzi stalked his every move, hungry for confirmation of marriage, retirement, or relocation. A candid photo became a headline. Hyun spotted at cafe. Is he starting a new chapter? Screamed one tabloid. Yet through it all, remained calm, unbothered by the noise. Silence was no longer a shield, it was a statement. It said all he needed to say. International reactions underscored the global reach of his influence. CNN ran a feature titled "The Star Who Chose Happiness," while BBC called it a defining cultural moment in South Korea. In Japan, Hyun's fan clubs organized events under the banner "We Choose With You." In Latin America, fans painted murals of his likeness with the words "Choose Happiness" emblazoned across them. What began as one man's personal revelation had become a worldwide movement. For KBs itself, the ramifications were profound. Management agencies, long known for controlling every aspect of their stars' lives, forced to reconsider. Could they continue to demand silence and denial when Hyun had? That honesty, albeit ambiguous, could not only survive but thrive? Industry insiders whispered of a Hyun effect, predicting a future where stars might feel freer to embrace their humanity without fear of losing everything. Months later, when Hyun finally resurfaced in a carefully crafted magazine interview, his words were simple but powerful. "Disappearing," he said with a smile. "Simply living. And I hope my fans can live boldly, too." The message was clear. He was not closing doors but opening them, to new possibilities, to authenticity, to life itself. Oh, the legend of Hyun's life-changing decision solidified. It was not just a celebrity headline. It was not just another trend. It was a moment when the boundary between star and human dissolved. When a man stood before the world and declared his right to live on his own terms. Fans may never know the exact nature of his choice, marriage, career shift, or personal transformation, but perhaps that is the beauty of it. The ambiguity allowed everyone to see their own reflection in his words, to find their own courage in his declaration. Story echoes through time. One truth remains unshakable: Hyun's decision is no longer just trending. It has already become history. The echo of Hyun's words did not fade with the applause that night, it only grew louder. "I am choosing my happiness" became more than a phrase. It became a declaration, a manifesto. A spark that ignited conversations not only in KBs but in living rooms, classrooms, offices, and communities around the world. In a culture where stars are often expected to sacrifice everything for their careers, Hyun's choice represented defiance, ability, and courage. And its aftermath was nothing short of revolutionary. In the weeks following the announcement, South Korea's entertainment industry stood still. Agencies scrambled to review their public relations playbooks. For decades, the formula had been simple: deny, neglect, or apologize. But Hyun had broken the mold. He had not denied. He had not apologized, he had embraced. And in doing so, he shattered the invisible chains that bound celebrities to silence. Younger idols began referencing his statement during interviews. Some even quoting him directly, like Hyun's son Benim said, "I also want to choose my happiness." It was as if his decision had given an entire generation permission to breathe. The media, which had feasted on speculation for weeks, now pivoted to analysis. Talk shows dedicated entire episodes to unpacking the meaning of his words. Was he announcing retirement? Was it marriage? Philosophical shift toward balancing personal life with career? Panelists argued endlessly. But one conclusion was unanimous, whatever the specifics. Hyun had changed the rules of the game. CNN called it a cultural reset. NHK described it as a turning point for Korean celebrity culture. The New York Times, in an article that surprised many, dubbed Hyun the actor who dared to live. Fans, meanwhile, transformed his message into a movement. On Twitter, the hashtag #ChooseHappiness surged globally. Not just among K-drama enthusiasts but among people from all walks of life. Stories poured in of individuals inspired by Hyun's courage, a college student deciding to pursue her passion for art, a corporate worker resigning from a toxic job, a young man finally confessing his love. The post ended with the same line, "If Hyun can choose happiness, so can I." What had started as one man's personal revelation had transcended celebrity. It had become universal. But the frenzy also had its darker side. Paparazzi intensified their pursuit, determined to uncover the specifics of Hyun's decision. Rumors of secret meetings, marriage licenses, hidden travel surfaced daily. Though none were ever confirmed, every female co-star Hyun had worked with was dragged back into headlines. Their private lives dissected with brutal intensity. Even his family, usually shielded from the spotlight, found themselves the subject of invasive curiosity. Hyun remained silent through it all, his composure unshaken. Silence was no longer interpreted as avoidance, it was read as strength. The most dramatic moment came months later at an international award ceremony in Busan. Hyun appeared on stage to present an award. The crowd's reaction was deafening. Fans held banners reading "We choose with you and happiness first." When he paused mid-speech and smiled at the audience, the ovation lasted several minutes. Journalists described the atmosphere as spiritual, as though the star had transcended his profession and become a symbol of hope. That night, photographs of Hyun standing beneath a cascade of golden confetti went viral. Captioned simply, "The man who chose." Veterans began calling it the Hyun effect. Casting directors noticed a shift in how younger actors approached their careers. Brands redesigned campaigns around authenticity and emotional connection. Even politics took note, with one South Korean lawmaker referencing Hyun's phrase during a parliamentary session on mental health. "We must all choose happiness," she declared. Laughter and applause. What began as a personal decision had become embedded in the national consciousness. Globally, the fascination never waned. Fan clubs in Japan, the Philippines, Brazil organized Happiness Day events, where people shared stories of the choices they made inspired by Hyun. A mural of his face was painted in Manila, the words "Choose Happiness" beneath it. In Los Angeles, a K-drama convention featured a special panel titled "The Hyun Legacy," when a star redefined celebrity. The resonance was undeniable. Hyun's choice had crossed oceans, languages, and cultures. And yet, the most poignant legacy was personal. For his fans, Hyun had always been a star. But after his decision, he became something greater, a mirror. His vulnerability reflected their own fears and dreams. His courage gave them courage. His refusal to conform gave them permission to be imperfect. The parasocial bond between star and fan deepened into something profound. A collective story of empowerment. Years later, when asked about that night in an exclusive magazine interview, Hyun reflected with quiet wisdom. "I didn't expect the world to react the way it did," he admitted. "I only wanted to be honest, with myself, with my fans. I thought maybe they would be disappointed. But instead they gave me strength. I realized that choosing happiness is not just my decision, it's something we can all do, together." That single quote sealed the legend. Hyun's words were etched into history. Not as a scandal, not as gossip, but as a moment when the walls between celebrity and humanity dissolved. His life-changing decision had become a beacon, A reminder that even under the blinding lights of fame, the right to live authentically is the most powerful choice of all. And so the story of Hyun's decision concludes not with an ending, but with an echo that still reverberates in hashtags, in murals, in fan gatherings, in the hearts of millions. What began as a shocking rumor had become a timeless legacy. Hyun's life-changing decision is no longer trending. It is eternal. From a whisper to a storm, speculation to revelation, Hyun's life-changing decision has transcended rumor and become legend. It was more than a statement, it was a cultural shift. A reminder that even under the brightest spotlight, stars are still human, brave enough to choose their own happiness. After the hashtags fade, this moment will remain etched in KB's history as the day Hyun rewrote the rules. We at Red Carpet Revealed want to sincerely thank our readers for staying with us through this extraordinary journey. Your passion, curiosity, and unwavering support inspire us to keep uncovering the hidden truths and unforgettable moments behind the spotlight. Together, we will continue to explore the drama beyond the drama, bring you closer to the legends shaping the world of KB's.